Welcome back, class. This video is going to discuss today's entrance ticket questions and answers, so make sure you pay close attention so you know how to complete the entrance ticket with accuracy. So your first word for today is proportion. Proportion is the relationship between two parts and the whole. You basically want to look at the object you're drawing, the one single object, and make sure every part of that object is the proper size as it relates to everything else within. So for example, if I look at this mannequin here, everything is in perfect proportion. When I relate the hand to the body, to the head, everything relates to be the right proper size. Proportion is something we all actually naturally understand. It's basically when something is not the right size within an object, but it's specific because you're relating one part to the other and the whole and seeing what's out of place. So if I were to make this head much bigger, if I draw this head of the mannequin all the way to the top of that circle, then that head would be way out of proportion. It would be too big. Same thing with the leg being too long. If I do the leg down here, and again, the reason we know that is because you're looking at the head, if it were too large, and comparing it to the rest of the body, again, two parts to the whole to make sure it's the right size or not. And then over here to the left, I want to just demonstrate why proportion is so important in a self-portrait, because it's not always just about the size. It can also be about the placement and the angles of things. So in a portrait, your box grid essentially makes these line measurements and graphs for you, but you want to make sure everything is the exact right place. It's level where it should be. The eyes are always level. The nose is the proper height and width. Same thing with the mouth and the ears. You just want to make sure that everything is in just the right spot. Because if I had the eyes, one eye higher than the other or one ear lower than the other, then those features would not be in proportion, which would affect the likeness, which we're going to discuss in just a minute. All right, so moving on. So your last question, your follow-up question, now that we know what proportion is and what it means, how can proportion affect the likeness of our self-portrait? So if you look at the image to the right and the image on the left, you see all these measurements and marks are made to help determine the proper proportions. But what if the proportions are wrong? If the proportions are wrong, is it going to look like you anymore? If the eyes are too big or the nose is too thin, mouth is too wide, it's going to alter the likeness. It won't look as much like you anymore. So the reason proportion is so important and the way it affects the likeness of our self-portrait is that the proportions must be accurate if it's going to look like our portrait's going to look like us. If the proportions are incorrect, the likeness won't be of you anymore. It'll look like someone else, someone maybe similar in likeness to you, but not you. So you want to make sure you're paying very close attention to the proportions of your portrait so that your self-portrait assignment looks as much like you as possible. So that concludes this video for your entrance ticket introduction. Please make sure when you leave this video you complete your entrance ticket questions, and also make sure you watch the 2 videos that follow, how to blend oil pastels and how to layer oil pastels. And just a friendly reminder, you do not need to watch the entire length of the videos. They are long. I think one is 10 minutes and one is 7 minutes. Just get the concept of how pastels should look, how solid color pastels should look in your portrait. And then the second video, how to layer pastels, just get the concept of how far you can push it. That's a video that you could even fast forward close to the end so that you know how your portrait could look if you pushed it as hard as you could, as far as you could. All right, please message me if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing your assignments and your progress today. All right, bye everyone.